and welcome to Free Hands Friday number 17. My name is Russell Keating, and I'm helping Gene Rowley today. I'm not sure exactly why he wanted me to do it. He mumbled something about Friday the 13th and then changed the subject. So, but I think we'll be okay. So today, our guest is Kevin CHIASSON, and Dale Ladisor from last week, our guest last week, is going to be interviewing him. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dale and have at it, guys.
Thanks, Russell.
Thank you, Russell. Welcome from the Great White North. I specifically hung something just in honor of the Canadian Stick Month that Gene and Russell have put together.
Woo!
And today we are going to, So every sentence should be ended with the A phrase, just so we can keep the peace. We have the wonderful Kevin CHIASSON, who's from Brantford, Ontario. Not Brampton, Brantford, which is like northeast of Buffalo and southwest of Toronto, just to get some geographic pinpointing going on here. Now, Kevin is a relative newcomer to the stick. And that's great because we're going to have the perspective of a relative newbie, the perspective, the challenges that a newcomer to the instrument faces. And that's going to be very enlightening. So welcome, Kevin.
Hey, thanks, guys, for having me. I'm very honored to be here, and hope we can all learn a thing or two, or about a thing or two, and have a good time. Yeah, I've been playing for 3 years, about 3.5 years or so. I got a couple of sticks. I have a used graphite over there, and the rosewood here that I bought just a few months ago. Really enjoying that. And I got the Taggart interface here. Gene might be interested in that. I painted it black to make it look a bit more evil. And I've been using that thing exclusively now. I'm off the strap. I'm off the belt altogether now. Like when we go to California in August, I'll have to learn how to play with the bell hook again. But right now, this contraption is fantastic. I really dig it.
Did it take a long time for you to make that adjustment, or did it come quite easily?
It kind of wobbles around a little bit. Just a little bit, so that took maybe a couple of weeks to get used to that and try to mitigate that action. It's a bit weird, but it's really nice to get that strap out from under your armpit. And that's how I stand on that. I'm a true convert now. I love this thing. I think it's probably easy to make it or in a couple of nuts and bolts.
You've been a bass player for the last 30 years, right? So, gigging around in bars with bands, like since you were a teen, is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. Started playing bass probably around the age of 13. Parents got me a bass for Christmas, and they were always really supportive as we were growing up. They let us practice in the basement, super loud too, just earth. Shattering loud volumes, and they let us practice there for the most of our formative years of playing. So I thank them a lot. Yeah, a lot of bar band stuff. I did that from the time I was around maybe 18 to the time I was 23 or so, and you know how those bar band things are fleeting, and I didn't want to be a poor musician, so I got a real job, and now I just do this for fun. And
right on.
About 5 or 6 years ago, I played in a Pink Floyd tribute, and that was a really sporadic gigging, but a really fun gig. We had it was a 9-piece band, doo-wop girl saxophone, great keyboard player, flying pigs, lasers, smoke, and bubble machine. It was excellent. Excellent.
Who played the flying pig?
Oh, that was a remote control pig. It just coasted around the in front of the stage and rose up to the lights and stuff like that. It was on a little rollerblades.
All right. So, do you want to tell us about the time? It was what, early '90s, where you saw Crimson?
Oh, I never saw Crimson. I just was interested in them back in the day, and that's what got me into the stick. Hearing the sound of it and how organic and sploinky and slinky and like a really nasty piano almost. That I really dug that sound, and it stuck with me for years and years. And 5 years would go by, and I maybe see one in a music store, and I go, oh, I really want one of those, and never scrape up the money or that kind of thing. But I finally took the plunge, just 3 years ago. So, and I'm glad I did too. I hardly play bass anymore. I just noodle around with it. It's kind of shameful.
That.
Nice. I have some nice basses here, and they don't get played, and it makes me feel kind of bad. What are you gonna do? Yeah, I'm a stick player.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, what music were you into back then, and the music that you're into now? It seems like, looking at your videos, you have quite an array of interests. Like Lightfoot, the Pixies.
Yeah. Well, back in the teens, I grew up with Rush. I wanted to be Geddy Lee. I kind of still do in a way, but they were my biggest heroes. Yes, Genesis, Zeppelin, of course. I like heavy stuff as well. Iron Maiden, Alice in Chains, Marillion. I really like Marillion. I don't know why. Great melodies, kind of prog. I like.
Holy crap!
But I also like. I really like Elton John and Billy Joel, Clash, The Jam, Bowie. I love the Deftones. Did I say Alice in Chains? I love Alice in Chains. But the Smiths, the Smiths are none. They're my biggest, most favorite band. If the Desert Island Disc, if I had one disc, it would be Smiths mix tape or disc. I mean.
Have you learned any Smiths on the stick yet?
No, I really want to. I think Gene did. Oh my goodness, Gene did a Smiths song last year.
Back to the Old House.
Okay, yeah, right.
But I couldn't hit the melody. Like that was the only song in 52 weeks where I was like, I'm just gonna play the Johnny Marr's part. Like I couldn't.
Really, eh? Well, Johnny Marr is the greatest guitar player on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. And I just love the Smiths. And maybe down the road, maybe 3 or 4 years, I might tackle some of that stuff. But right now, I'm trying to keep it simple.
Well, in that regard, I wouldn't call "If You Could Read My Mind" by Gordon Lightfoot very simple. But can you just do you want to share that with us for a moment?
The song?
Yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah. Here we go. I know sometimes that with these webcasts, the sound's kind of iffy, and if things go sour, just let me know, and I'll go over and turn it up or turn it down, or okay. No, so this is a song I stole from David Tipton using my slow down and learn method. So here we go. I like to leave
Sweet.
I like to leave it hanging on that G note there instead of resolving back up to the, I think it's the A minor. Sounds kind of cool.
Wow, that was seriously cool. Kevin, before I ask you the next question, you got to explain the T-shirt that you're wearing.
Anybody recognize that face? That's Morrissey. That's the singer for the Smiths. I don't know why he's wearing.
Right.
He's got a cat on his head. I don't know. Maybe he likes to wear cats as hats. I don't know. He's a cat in a hat. I don't know. I just like that.
Yeah, we'll just.
I bought the concert in New York a couple of years ago. Great show, by the way.
Sweet. Okay, so yeah, you mentioned the slow down and learn method. That sounds fascinating. You want to give some insights as to what you discovered along the way?
Yeah, you know, during the first year I had the stick, I won't say I wasted time, but I spent a lot of time just like making noise with it and really not doing too much of anything, maybe forming octaves and just making noise. And I think that I probably could have been maybe 6 months ahead if I started forming chord shapes right away and just concentrating on the bass chord shapes straight away and moving those chord shapes around the board up and down. And it doesn't even have to be necessarily musical. It gets your hand in the habit of forming chord shapes and moving up and down the neck, which is what basically every stick song encompasses. So instead of doing that, I noodled around and did nothing for a year. And I didn't know what path to take or how to learn. I know I had Emmett's books and stuff like that, but I'm not much of a book guy. And so I always, even after a year, I thought to myself, I'm never going to be able to come up with any songs on this thing other than my own little 2-minute wonders. So I made one of those. After a year, I made a 2-minute wonder. Maybe I'll play that later. But and then I started to look online simple songs that I liked, and one of those songs was Mad World by, well, first done by Tears for Fears, then Gary Jules. And it was done on a zither of all instruments, and it's one of those things that lays on a table and it's got strings and you pluck it. And so I did I grabbed the audio from the YouTube video, and I played it through my program called the Amazing Slowdowner. I won't pump that program too much because there's probably a lot of programs that do the same function. The one I use is the Amazing Slowdowner. So I pump that audio through that program, and that program allows you to, of course, slow things down, or conversely, speed things up, or change the pitch up and down. So if you're not quite in tune with the song, you can mess with the pitch. So, and it has a looping function, which is really important. So I would just loop the first 3 or 4 seconds of that song, and that's how I learned really my first song. And that was a big deal for me. After I learned that song, I was like, wow, maybe there's hope for me. I don't know much theory. I know just enough to get me by. I'm a bass player. I'm not a guitar player. I can't play wicked fast licks. So that's how I concentrate on playing melody stuff. Anyways, I just really pick the predominant vocal melody, and so I'm not flying all over the neck.
Right.
I'd love to be able to do that, but I'm just not there yet. Maybe in 10 years we'll see what happens. But yeah, slowing stuff down for me changed everything. And then I ran into some David Tipton videos. After I learned the Mad World via slowing it down, I came across Just the Way You Are by Billy Joel. He had done a cover of that. And I thought to myself,
oh, beautiful tune.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and his cover was fantastic. So I thought I might be able to learn that sucker if I slow it down. My ear is good, but I just can't pick out stuff that flies by me too fast. So I definitely have to slow it down. So I did the same thing with that. I grabbed the audio from YouTube, played it through the slow downer, and voila, it works so well. You can slow that thing down to 40%, 30%. You can, if you can't hear a note, you can raise the pitch a whole octave, and maybe sometimes that note will pop out. The note that you can't hear an octave lower will pop out an octave higher. And the looping function. So I learned, that was my first big deal, was learning that Tipton cover. And after that, I was unstoppable. And the big deal about that, and the way that makes it easy, is something I call the eighth note motor, or the 16th note motor, or however you want to call it. It's the basis on everything that I play. And it's just this. We all know it, but as a beginner, you might not. If you can do that, you're set for life.
Sweet.
Down.
Are you going to start paying? Are you going to start paying David Tipton a percentage?
I should. You know what? Let me see. You know what? I got about 7 songs up there that are his. Maybe 8. They're all I copy everything. And I'm not saying that David Tipton's easy to copy, because I don't want to say that, because Dave's a great player, but he has a way of playing that I can. It's easy for me to pick out where the bass side is and where the melody side is. And if you listen to maybe, for instance, I can't do that with Andy Saldana, because I can't. Sometimes the melody gets swished in with his bass, and it makes it sound like one big instrument. With David, he's got that 16th note motor always going, and the melody side, they're easy to discern the two and split the two. So that's how I will start to learn, like, for instance, my method of learning that song, or any song for that matter, would be to learn the bass side chords first. And I don't even touch the melody. I don't even think about it. It might take me 3 or 4 days to learn the accompaniment, and I'll just go over that till I can almost play it with my eyes closed, and then I'll start to throw in the melody side and go from there. I'll learn the melody side, rather I'll learn the side and then try and join those two together. And sometimes it doesn't go like that. Sometimes it goes like this and turns into a big ball, but usually comes out good in the end. So.
You had mentioned something about lead sheets for learning tunes. Can you explain how you lay that out?
Yeah, lead sheets. All right, after I got, there's only so much David Tipton I can learn before I run out of material. So I'm going to have to start coming up with some, and he's going to get pissed off at me if I keep posting his stuff on YouTube. So I got to come up with the material. And the melody of a song, for me, I don't need a lead sheet for that. It's in your head, and it's the predominant part of the song. You're singing in your head. I don't need a lead sheet for that. What I need is a lead sheet for the accompaniment, the bass side chords. Sometimes it's not always easy to find those chords on the stick. Like if I can do it easy on the bass, but I can't do it easy on the stick. I got to look it up. I got to look it up online. So I'll go to just guitar tab sites or often piano tab sites. They sometimes have more accurate chord structures on there. So I'll go on online, type in the song I want to learn, the chords, and boom, it pops up. And that's what I call a lead sheet, because the chord structure along the top of the vocals and yada yada yada, chorus, verse, yada yada, bridge. And so what I'll do is I'll take that lead sheet and I'll throw it on my whiteboard over here, the chords, and now I go to any one of these 3 books. Steve's book, Greg's book, and Emmett's book. I go to those books and find the chords, how to play them on the stick. And that's how all that works. You have a crisis situation?
Yeah, no, it's okay. I forgot to unplug the phone. Sorry, man. Oh. You had one of those 2-minute wonders that you were talking about. Do you want to share one? This is an original. A 2-minute wonder is something that you wrote, right?
Mm-hmm. A little splash there. Yeah, this is, and this is a great example of how musical 1 or 2 chords can be, 1 or 2 chord shapes rather, and I'll show you that. There's 2 chord shapes, but it's you can go a long way with that, right? You can get a lot of mileage out of that. But this is the first thing I wrote after a year. I don't even want to say I wrote because it sounds so pretentious. So it's the first ditty I came up with after a year. I'm not a writer, so here we go. And I don't currently play this anymore because it bores even me now, so there might be some train wrecks, okay? So again, 2 chord shapes. Here's one of them. That's a nice sounding chord. The other chord shape is just this minor chord. That's all there is to this song. I'm not flying around on the right hand, as you'll see.
Sweet.
There's a
Sweet.
bit more, but I won't put you through it.
Listen, I have some important announcements, Kevin. David Broski wanted me to warn you that David Tipton is going to steal that song now. And then Eric Anthony here confessed on the scroll that he actually already stole it last year. So I think you're hooped.
Right on. Well,
You're hooped, eh?
you can have it. I won't charge you. It's free.
So so listen, how do you do you have a specific practice regimen that you find helps you, or like what is your practice regimen, and how do you go about writing? Is it do you have a specific time during the day? You said you had a day job, so lay that out for us.
I'll talk a bit about that. I think a lot of new guys, and even me, when I started playing, I'm like, I'm gonna do this right. I'm gonna do this right. I'm gonna open all the books. I'm gonna do it all right. And then I got this stick, and I'm like, yeah, the books are over there. I'm just gonna make noise with this thing, which I did. So, and I think a lot of people think it's really important to learn a bunch of scales and a ton of. You need a bit of theory, but not a ton of theory. And I don't think you need to be running all over the thing with scales and stuff. What I was primarily interested in was playing songs. I don't really care about scales. You know what? I don't even know what the notes are on this thing. Like if you said, what's this note right here? I go, I don't know. I'd have to actually think about it for a minute and go like down an octave, and I don't know. But when I'm learning a song from a lead sheet, for instance, like if it's a B flat minor, well, yeah, I'm gonna have to find that before I can start the song. So, but for the most part, I don't know what the notes are, and I don't care, because that will come, and that will come later, and it's coming now, and it's slowly coming now. And when I first played the bass, I didn't care what the notes were either. But it came after a while. I can name every note on the bass now, but I can't do it here. But I will someday. But it's not important to fuss about that when you're a beginner. Start playing songs right away.
Right.
Start playing. Get those chord shapes, and play them up and down the neck. Did that answer your question? I think I might have got disjointed there. Yeah.
That's okay. It's okay. We're Canadian. It's all right. Do you find that like, are you able to sit with it on average like more than a few hours a day, or do you do it in dribs and drabs? Like
yeah, there's another.
Because I'm just wondering.
That's another thing I want to talk about.
Go ahead.
You can't, if you get a stick and you play it for an hour a week, you might as well just not even play. You have to play this thing. You got to play it every day. And if you can't play it every day, you have to play it every other day, twice as much. And I think practice is super important. I don't practice anything, like I said before, I'm not all over the books and scales. I practice to make stuff that sounds like music. And if it sounds good, it usually is good. So I practice songs, and I don't have the opportunity to practice every day because when I'm working, I'm gone. But I think it's important to practice probably 40 hours a month, which I probably get 30 to 40 hours a month. And 2 hours a day for
Yeah, okay.
2 hours a day.
And are you finding that you know how anybody taking on any instrument, if they're playing it a lot, they have to deal with you know, the threat of repetitive strain. So I'm just wondering, do you have any kind of a warm-up regimen that you deal with? Are you
No,
or is that stand that eliminate a lot of that?
I just come down and hit it, sister.
Sweet.
I come down
Sweet.
it's the first thing I do in the morning, grab coffee, and I come down here. And I play through my entire repertoire of tunes that I have. Then I go about my daily business, and I'll come down again and play for another hour.
Right on. Before we open it up to questions, I was just going to ask you if you could play Daniel, because that's a sweet one that you do.
Okay. Hey, before I forget, and I might forget, I took a lesson from Greg a couple of months ago, and I've been putting it off because I don't want to waste anybody's time, right? So I finally felt like I could play it enough that I wouldn't, piss him off too much. So I took a lesson from him.
You're such a Canadian.
He got me straightened around on a few things, and I think the most important thing is, let me back up a little bit. When I play bass, I stomp my foot. It's like I'm pounding a hole in the ground. I stomp it. But when I play the stick, I never tap my foot. So during that lesson, he goes, "You gotta tap your foot. You gotta tap your foot." And it actually screwed me up a little bit. It's starting to tap my foot while playing the stick. It was screwing me up. I was messing up sections. I'm like, oh, I can't do this. But I forced myself to tap my foot, my left foot. I can tap my right one too, but he says tap your left, so I was concentrating on tapping the left foot. It's so important. Have to tap your foot. So that's just one thing I want to get out of the way. When you're learning to play, tap your foot. So.
Unless you have no sense of meter.
Yeah.
Like the metronomes. Metronomes can be your friend. It's always a good thing to actually surround them in gaff tape so that when you get frustrated and fling it against the wall, it doesn't break. So, yeah. No, but metronomes are great. So
I do practice.
I have to internalize that.
Yeah, I do practice with metronomes a bit, not a lot, but it definitely helps.
And I don't think you'll be arrested if you tap your right foot or your left. I'm not sure. We're breaking any.
Dexterous. This song is one of the songs that I came up with just by getting a sheet off the internet and coming up with the chords. And by the way, there's another thing I want to point out for beginners. There's a lot of ways to play one chord. Like for instance, is that a C? There's a C. You can play that C with a real nice open voice like this. You can also get the C like this. And it's the easiest format, I think. And another way, so there's a lot of ways to play a chord. And if you're playing the same C throughout one song, you might want to change the voice of that chord in different parts of the song just to add, I don't know, salt or whatever. Anyways, this is Daniel. I came up with this with lead sheets, I don't know, a couple months ago. Can you hear it okay? Good?
Yep.
There may be some train wrecks, so bear with me.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, nicely done. I'm truly amazed that you've only been playing for 3 years, man. I got to tell you, that's some beautiful stuff you're doing there. So this obviously this slow down and learn method is catching on.
You know what? I don't know where I'd be without it. I don't know where I'd be without it. It really,
Right
really over the edge.
Right on. So we're going to open up to questions here, and we're going to start with, is it North Dakota? Andy?
Yep. It is North Dakota.
Andy, do you got a hallelujah, honorary Canadian? So you got a question for Kevin?
Yeah, Kevin, you're a pilot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does the stick come with you when you're working out doing your moving from place to place and coming back, or what?
Sometimes it does if I have a long layover somewhere, but it's got to be worth it because otherwise I'm dragging it around for 4 days. It sucks. It sucks. If I had like an Alto, maybe that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, if I gotta have enough time on the road to warrant dragging it around. So sometimes.
Is it the graphite or the rosewood that comes with you?
I bring the graphite in case it gets dropped. Yeah.
All right, composites.
All right, Bas from Holland. We got to demutify him. There we are. Hey, Bas, how's it going?
Hey, boss, what's up?
Oh, he's still muted. Boss, can you hear us?
Unmute.
Hang on. Looks like he's tuning in. He's tuning in. He's channeling.
I'm so shiny. Makeup! Makeup!
Okay, Boss, can you hear me?
Okay, I'm back. I'm back again. I'm not
There
shy
you
or
are.
anything.
Hey, boss, how are you?
Hallelujah.
I'm back again. It was as if I was kicked out of the chat. Okay, I've seen myself twice now. Happened before. So, Kevin, you told you're mostly interested in playing songs, but do you have a kind of a system to pick these songs? Is it because you love the song, or you hear something that is interesting to you, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. In half of my instances, the choice was made for me because I just copied David's stuff. But in the other half of the instances are songs that melody, a really nice melody is really important to me, and a song that is timeless. And I like to pick songs like that. So yeah, for instance, Daniel, like everybody, the entire planet has heard that song, and it's got a beautiful melody, and that's how I try to pick songs. I guess that they all mean something to me, but it's all about a sweet melody. And the sweeter the melody, the better, and the juicier it is on the stick. And sometimes I will hear. Sometimes I'll just hear a song that maybe I don't really care for, but I think would translate really nicely over to the stick, and that's another option I use too.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, the Wrecking Ball song that David Tipton did. I
haven't copied that one yet. I want to.
Yeah, I started playing it because I saw David playing it, and the song itself, I don't hate it, but I didn't recognize it as a possible stick song. But when I saw him play it, I tried to play it too, just a little bit, and I absolutely love the song now for playing.
You know what? It's a beautiful melody. It's a good song. Is a good song. Is a good song. You can't. It's a beautiful melody. I never liked the song before either, but tonight it's a good melody, and the way David, he changed the whole thing up for me. I have a new appreciation for Miley Cyrus now. Don't let that get around.
Yeah, too late. Okay, Debro, David Broski.
Debro, my bro.
Yes. Hey Kev, I had to tune in out of honor for your great accomplishments. Love hearing your stuff because I'll tell you why. You can tell you play right from the heart. All the melody lines. Actually, this is my litmus test. They sound like you're singing them, and that's really quite an accomplishment. Also, the other thing you've done that I think we missed the forest through the trees with your stuff, and that is you've done something which I've always said. Every stick player should try to copy another stick player's material. The only example I know of is The Manifest by Glenn Porman, which is an incredible song, and Jim Riley of Canada. So you work the Canada edge here, eh? Jim, one of our great stick historians, actually covered Glenn's version of The Manifest. And although you're covering one of my very best friends, Dave Tipton's stuff, you're learning from the way a stick player plays. I think we cover a lot of material from a piano player or from another, like an artist like Miley Cyrus and that, but we're not covering each other's material. You don't hear anyone playing the slip. You don't hear anyone either fabulous song, Dale. You don't hear anyone playing things like "Waking the Day" by Tom Greisgraber or any of those songs. And it's kind of interesting. We don't look within our own community to cover those materials, and yet it's right there. And you've already given us a great blueprint. Again, Gene, what a great archival situation this Freehands Friday is, because now we know how to slow down the songs and use pitch shifters, maybe elastic pitch and Pro Tools to now start to learn some of these songs. And you also brought up the fact that Dave uses really excellent separation that you can hear his melody and his bass side in two separate, very wide forms. That being said, I expect to hear a complete copy of Residue next year, the entire album.
I love that record. I play his album all the time around here. It's a great record.
It's a great record. It's a great record. I think I don't know if it was Gene or someone else said their kids go to sleep to it. So that's a. But Kevin, thank you again for all the support and actually inspiration that you give all of our newbies and all of us members on Stickist. So thank you again.
Oh, right on, Dave. Thanks so much, man. Thanks so much. Hey, you know what?
Okay, D-Bro.
Another good thing about copying other people's music is, if you're like me, I'm kind of lazy. I don't like to think too much. Well, I do, but sometimes I don't. So when you're copying other people's material, they've done all the hard work for you. You just got to copy it. It's like tracing paper, right? Like David's done all the legwork, man. I just got to copy it. I dig it.
I have to interject because out of the dreck that is going on in the group chat here, Andy Prokopic, is that right? Said something quite eloquent. He said, "I think there's a feeling that playing an instrument with such high levels of originality and creativity that we ourselves need to match the creation all the time. So limitless."
Cool. Yes.
Did I say dreck?
Yeah.
Okay. So wait a minute, Eric, who I was going to go to. There you are, Eric. Eric, tell me, you're in the Middle East right now. Where are you, babe? Oh, you gotta demute him.
There we go. How's that?
Eric.
Okay, yeah.
There we go.
I'm actually, I'm in Kuwait, in the Middle East, and we're about 500 miles south of where all the trouble's starting up in Iraq right now, so we've got quite a build-up going up on the border here, just in case they decide to keep coming, but other than that, it's a nice place. Kevin, nice to meet you almost in real life, mate.
Yeah, I'd love to shake your hand.
And got a question for you on more of a technical side. When you were playing earlier last year, some of your recordings, you were using your Fishman SA220, and it sounded really good. How are you getting that into your computer? And secondly, what happened to the fly on the ceiling cam that you used to do?
Oh, the fly on the ceiling cam is just a mic stand, and with my shitty old Canon camera that's probably 14 years old, I just hiked. So I would just any recording that I did in the past that's online right now is all done with that camera, pretty much, and just the mic that is built into the camera itself. So that's how I got all that online. I don't know anything about recording. I don't know anything about gear. I'm the wrong guy to ask. I don't even know what an ohm is.
Yeah, I had a recent bit of a disaster with a piece that I've got a USB out on this mixing board, and I put that into the computer, and ever since I've got it to work once now, everything peaks out. It sounds lousy. It's a bunch of crap. So if anyone come up with a better idea of how to get a better digital recording into your machine, I'd appreciate it.
I'd love to be. I don't know anything about recording, unfortunately. It's just I just don't know. I just don't know.
Plus that, and I've got the new Bose system sitting over here that I just bought.
Yeah, because you were asking.
That one right there.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a real nice piece of kit. Love it. Anyway, look forward to more of your stuff, mate. I really do. You're easy to steal from. I can see everything you do.
Awesome. Awesome. And you know what? I think I have, I have some, I actually tabbed out the chords for some of these songs I've been doing. So, like the actual position on the stick itself. So maybe I'll throw those in the gallery if if I get some time.
That'd be really cool. I came across a piano website that's got a really nice moving graphic of left and right hand in 2 different colors with the notes listed. Dave's had a look at it, likes it. I'll throw the link up on the forum, and it's a bunch of free YouTube downloads. You can look at them and follow them along, and it shows you left and right hands, which basically match up to the stick really, really well.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. I've actually used those a little bit to help me get my head around some stuff.
Yeah.
The notes really cool. Waterfalls, right?
Yeah. No. This one actually moves sideways.
Oh, like a big scroll. Okay.
Yeah. And they tell you all the notes, which saves you a lot of headaches.
Right. Right on.
Okay, the man at the helm, Russell Keating out of Chicago. You have a question for Kevin.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin. You made great progress on the time that you've been playing. I've been telling everybody that you've been playing for 3 years, but you said you goofed off the first year, so I'm going to tell everybody you've been playing for 2 years. You know, we got to give you credit, okay?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So my question was, so many bass players come to the stick, and what part of bass playing helped you transition to the stick, and what part of it kind of hindered you, where you had to really change your way of thinking?
Well, I think having a good stretch in your except my left, a good stretch in your left hand really helps. Everybody here can attest to that for sure. And playing bass gives you a nice stretch in your left hand. I can span a pretty wide distance on that thing, and on bass too. So that really helped. And the fact that well, I guess it's not tuned in fifth, but it's tuned in fourth. So I had being a guitar player, I had some experience with fourth tuning. So thickness of the strings, I guess, helps. And the fact that just because I learned how to play bass and learned theory through the osmosis, that theory just transfers over to, like, I know what a major third is, I know what a perfect fourth is. I don't know too much more, but the theory definitely carries over and helps for sure.
Cool. Well, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Okay, Gene, the dancing machine.
Okay. Hey, Kevin.
Dude, what's up?
I'm a big fan, and I always look forward to the way you approach a song, regardless of whether you've gotten it from David or Bob or Greg or anyone. I think it's great that, I mean, I can definitely relate to that, and I feel very much the same way, in that you're never going to get any chicks playing scales.
That's right, man. It's all about getting the chicks, isn't it?
I mean, I'm married and have been for 14 years, but like I feel like maybe that helps me keep. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Anyway, I suppose what I'm getting at is this. So, I mean, doing those kinds of exercises is good, but I think what, for me, and what I kind of relate to with your playing is you know, like when I heard you do the cover of Mad World, like I had forgotten about that song, and just this rush of emotion came over from me, like from that time in my life, and it made me, you know, want to learn that song. And a song that kind of resurfaced for me was "Warmth of the Sun" by the Beach Boys, and it was the first song I was able to put on a record player as a little kid, and so like I have these very strong feelings and emotions about that song, and I feel like when you're playing Daniel or something like that, you might have learned that because it's a popular song, but also there is something like very emotional about that song, and I think Boss had the question about you know, why do you learn a song? Why do you learn that song? And so it was really, I enjoyed hearing how you go about like selecting a song, because the harder the song it is, you know, the more work you have to put into it, and you kind of, you know, are halfway through it, and you're like, you know, do I really like the song that much? And if you really do, then you end up learning it. Yeah. I suppose my question for you, after a pretty long introduction there, is when do you start playing out regularly and having? I mean, like, when do you do that? What's standing in the way of that?
Nothing. You know what? I've been actually purposely trying not to learn any new material for the last 2 months because everything else on my list is. I get pretty rabid when I learn a new song, and I won't play anything else for days, and then I go and play, I don't know, Brain Damage, and I'm like, what the hell? I can't play this song. So I'm there's nothing stopping me. I'm up to speed on all my material. It's just gotta get the minerals, man.
Well, if ever anyone was ready to perform and showcase their talent, I think it was you, and I think that you know, I'm sure everyone here will agree. We're all excited for you to go out and start playing. So like that'll be, you know, I'm looking forward to that because like you've proven to everyone in the stick world that you're capable. So you know, for people who don't even play the stick, it'll just be I think an exciting experience for you as well as for them.
Yeah, that's the end game for me, really. It really is. I got to get out. It's a bit petrifying for me. It's okay when you got 5 other goofs up there playing with you, right? Then you're like your safety number. Man, oh man, the heavy lies the crown when you're up there by yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
you know,
cool.
If I could interject for a second, you just touched on something that I forgot, a past trauma that I forgot about. When you're in those formative years of trying to eke out something resembling music on the stick, it's even if you're with a bunch of guys, you know, like it's really hard to just hide away in the background and go, okay, you know, I'm hanging on, you know, just barely hanging on here, don't pay any attention to me, because you know, you bring that thing out and everyone's watching. Everyone's watching. So, I mean, I think, you know, you should not, although I can relate to what you're saying and although I can feel your pain, it will end quite quickly. And you already have quite a little repertoire going.
Yeah. You know what? No, I've dropped about 7 songs and I'm not in a position where I should be dropping songs, but I just grow so bored with playing some of them that I couldn't last another day. So I gotta pick my stuff wisely.
Okay, cool. I don't know what happened there. Can you guys see me?
There's a glitch in the matrix.
No, I think something about pictures being taken or something.
Yeah, I think
it's
Baya's
from apps.
taking pictures.
Well, let's refrain from using the apps.
Okay.
It's killing our latency.
Yeah.
Yeah, like right there. Okay, so I'm just going to pass it on to Russell. Unless Michael had a question first, but I'm sure. Russell, why don't you take over, Dave?
Okay. Yeah, we have a special announcement from Michael Johnstone, and thanks a lot for hanging around the whole session, Michael. We wanted to get you in right at the top, and there were technical difficulties. Surprise, surprise. So why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Well, let's see. You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see me?
Yes.
All right. That's good. Yeah, well, as you guys know, I got this thing called a lap dog. I've been working on it for almost a year. It's a gadget that you put on your belt hook, and it screws in existing holes, and it unfolds and allows you to play across your lap like guys use drumsticks and stuff. This is my shot at a more elegant solution to that deal. And they're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
I had a few out there. A few of you guys already have one. And I'm getting feedback, corrected a couple of little things. It now fits on all sticks. It didn't fit on a couple there for a minute, but we got solutions to that. So they're available. Another thing that I started including with them is this little gadget here. It's a little spacer made out of plastic that goes in between the belt hook and the pedestal, and it raises essentially raises the belt hook 1/8 of an inch, which allows it on 12-string models to full without rubbing against the wood. So that's going to be with each one. The moons are black.
Another thing that I started including with them is this little gadget here.
I'm getting an echo.
It's a little spacer made out of plastic that goes in between the.
I'm getting a lot of latency here.
Yeah, we have a member that I'm going to have to remove because there's an issue with the account, and he can come back on. But let me see if that'll take care of it. Sorry about that. Okay, go ahead, Michael. I hope that takes care of it.
Okay. Anyway, I don't know what you guys heard me say, but we have this thing available now. Emmett is going to be selling them on his stick website also. And then I got some too. So you can get him. His deal, I'm not sure when he's going to be ready, probably a few days. He's going to add it to his accessory page. And when that happens, you'll be able to buy them from him. You can buy one from me now if you want to inquire about it, or we could, exchange emails or private messages on the Stickus.com. Just look under Captain Strings and give me a shout. That's about it there. I would want to say, Kevin, that I thought you sound great. I just recently got a 12-string, and it's got the same pickup you got, and I love it because it's very punchy. I wasn't going to get that one, but it ended up being on the stick that I got from Leo Goslin, and it sounds great. I love the tone of that thing.
Cool. Thanks, Michael. Does anybody have any questions for Michael while we have him here? I see Gene does. Go ahead, Gene.
Gene does.
Okay.
So I am a lapdog believer. There's a number of different ways you can play the stick. You can play using the stand, like one of the tag interfaces, the John Taggart interfaces that Kevin had, which are a little kind of hard to come by. And John's a busy guy. You can also just use the traditional belt, and I know that a lot of players prefer this just because it keeps it close to you. And I know that Greg is a pretty firm proponent of that. And then there's this kind of technique where people, the kind of Bob Culbertson thing, where they just use a drumstick or a stick. I think Matt Tate just uses a drumstick. But and I have kind of an older version here of the lapdog, but it is a pretty incredible evolution of the instrument. It simply just fits through the belt hook. So not only can you still continue to use your belt, and Kevin, I've tried it with the Taggart interface, and it fits fine. So it clips on there as well. It's literally an extension of the instrument. And so it was just a couple ounces or something like that, but then these arms fold out and it sits in your lap perfectly. So anytime I go to a gig now, I mean, this is always on my instrument. I never have to take it off for any reason. And it's just, you think about all the kind of the changes that the instrument has gone through, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 100 years from now, it may be that the belt hook is actually made with one of these things built into it. So, Michael, I applaud your efforts and just the time that you've spent with Emmett and with Stick Enterprises to put something like this together, because I am always looking for ways to decrease all the things that are in between me and actually picking up the instrument and getting to it now. And now it just sits right there in its stand, and I can pick it up anytime. Also, one of the kind of the great things about the lapdog is that I can get to my paddleboard, which is kind of cool because I want to turn things on and off, which I found to be a challenge with the stand. And even though I'm a big proponent of the stand, because I like the stand, it's easy, and for so long it just allowed me to just kind of walk up on the instrument and play it. It's a very similar situation with the lapdog. So I'm excited to see the evolution of the instrument. I'm excited to see progress. I'm excited to see Emmett get some help with this sort of stuff. And you guys are very similar. You guys think very similar, and I've heard these conversations that the two that you've included me on very kind of think similar kind of engineering kind of ways. So lots and lots of work has gone into this. I'm glad to see that it's working for the altos and the 12 strings and the 10 strings alike, and hopefully we'll have ways. I think as you mentioned, it's going to be out there on the Stick site, right?
That's right. I'm not sure when he's going to get to that. It's not on there right this second. I'm getting ready to drive. As soon as I get off this thing, I'm getting ready to get my car and drive over to his house. He lives right down the road from me, Emmett, which is handy. And we're going to sit down and talk about all that. I'm going to deliver him an armful of these things. And however fast he can get them out there, he's going to be doing that. Mine are available right now. I have some too. And this batch, a new batch, is coming down the pike. I'll have them also for the freehand thing in Bel Air. I'm going to bring a pile down there. So those guys who are looking for something like that will all be there too.
I'd like to echo Gene's comments about positioning and how you can just come up to it and play. You don't need to strap on a belt and strap on a strap and strap yourself in to go for a ride. You can just get on your bike and go. You don't need to put on your seatbelt, so to speak.
Yeah, it was designed so you don't need the strap, the shoulder strap.
It bounces against the chair in front of you if you sit back far enough, and you can come up to it, and it's great. I love it. Thanks a lot, Michael, by the way.
Sure, no problem. By the way, anybody out there that has
yeah,
one,
congratulations.
thank you. I was going to say, anybody out there has one already, and they find that the arms are rubbing on the wood a little bit when it folds up, shoot me a private message on the Stickist, and I'll give you one of these little spacers, and you put it in between the belt hook and the pedestal, and it'll pick it up 1/8 of an inch, and it'll clear. I know, Gene, yours was rubbing a little bit.
I should probably ask you for one of those too, because getting the truss rod wrench is a little tricky in there as it is.
Okay, I'll be glad to send you one. That was the missing thing. I think that one of the things that really helped it fit on all the sticks and give it a lot of clearance. I originally designed it because I had a rail board at first. I have another old ironwood, then I got a rail board, then I got this 12-string. But I designed it around the rail board, not realizing that it wouldn't fit on all of the sticks. I thought they had exactly the same geometry until I went over to Emmett's house and actually tried it on all the sticks and found out, wait a minute, I got to change a couple of things, and then that's how come I went through these different iterations that it has. Now the new one, I call it the universal lapdog. It'll fit on just any stick, and then this little gadget here helps. So I'll throw one of these in if you need it. There are a couple of combinations of belt hook positions that you'll need it more than others. It's real easy to pop in there, so that's part of the deal. I'm also including longer set screws than what come in it, in case you want to get to some extremes with the angles of the arms. So I'm going to throw those in as well. So there you go.
If I could comment on that, so the extension screws that he's speaking of are right here. So when the arm comes out like this, you can adjust. You have kind of a fine tuner almost, and you can't really see it, but there's a screw right here. So that can go up or down. So you can have the arm move at a very slight angle if you want, because it looks cool on paper, right? Oh, I like the idea, right? It just kind of folds out. But you might find that just a minor adjustment this way or that way will allow it to just kind of roll on your lap the way that you want it to. So
can you see that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, there it is. That's good. You got that.
Those little things that it rests on.
That's cool. Me gusta.
Right on.
So, the whole deal was born out of the fact that it's made to play standing up. But the hours that you're going to have to put into playing this thing, are you going to stand up for it? I practice 8 hours a day. Yeah, but are you going to stand up and do it, or are you going to sit down and do it? And for me, I played guitar all my life, and when I get out on stage and run around the stage and everything, but when I practice at home, I'm sitting in a chair. So I thought, how can I make this work like that? So it was born from that that impulse. So.
Thanks, Michael. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'll hand it back to Dan. Dan has a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, actually, just sort of a comment. I got to tell you, this comment will actually be no good to anybody on this panel. But when I was pregnant, Emmett sent me sort of something that accommodated me and my belly in a great way, because if you can think of a teeter-totter, that's exactly what I was experiencing with being with child and being an active stick player and recording at the time. So it's a really lovely thing to be able to have the option to sit down and play or stand, and this is a really, really exciting development. So yeah, congrats again.
Thanks.
+1.
All right.
Okay, Dale.
So Kevin, did you want to? You had mentioned that you hadn't really learned elephant talk yet. Is that right?
We're on mute. Mute.
Kevin?
Mute. He's on mute.
Come on, Kevin, demute. Uh-oh.
Kevin, it's
okay. So the ghost in the machine.
Look at the top. It's the microphone at the top. I hear you now.
Yeah. Are you there?
I have a question for you before we start. Michael?
Yes.
Say it again.
How much are you charging for the laptop?
The lapdogs, unfortunately, have gone up in price for the simple reason that there's some new materials. Powder coating is now involved, and it's been kicked up a little bit. They are $150.
Okay, and you don't need the shoulder strap when you use this device?
You could use it, but I don't use it. You've seen Bob Culbertson play, and how it seems to balance in his without the the way he does it. It's similar to that. What I found is it hangs down off of these arms in such a way that a certain goodly percent of the weight of the stick is below that support plane, giving it a lower center of gravity.
Okay.
So that the thing balances almost. You take your hands off and it just sits there. If you're one of those people that wear it off like some people that have almost a 45-degree angle, a guitar thing, it's not going to work for that. But the guys that play, like most of these people I'm looking at in their face right now, play more vertical, closer to a vertical position. That's what it's for. But yeah, you don't need the strap. I don't need the strap.
Okay. Well, listen, I'll take one off your hands in August if you bring one.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
Oh.
Right on.
Sorry.
So
I have one more announcement. Sorry. Larry Tuttle said he will be at the Free Hands Academy on Thursday, August 14th.
Cool.
Thursday he will be our special guest. Friday we'll have Kevin Keith, and Saturday will be Alfonso Johnson.
Groovy.
awesome.
That's bitchin'. I apologize, Dale. That's the only announcement that I have.
Okay. All right. So there's a million different ways to play Elephant Talk, and Tony actually, when he plays that, I know he tunes the 10th string down and plays sort of. I'm not going to tune my bass string down, but the way that I've played it, and I'm just going to back up so you can actually see both hands. I play it in A. Can you hear me? A?
Hey!
A. Hey! That's good, eh? Okay, so it's just depending. I have an extended stick, so I hear that you are supposed to not count the first fret. So it's like 7, 8, and 9 for the chords. And the lovely thing about these chords, so it's like string 4, 3, and 2, 7, 8, and 9. So it's you can, and then. So the bass line hear that okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry. Talk. It's only talk. And then the bass line. There's you can funk out on the bass line, but I play it F sharp. Hang on, I can't do it slowly. You know, just messing around. And then there's a bridge part that it's so beautiful. This is like my favorite bridge part ever. Is D flat? Is that right? D flat. And then just rhythm. You know, so that's basically essentially it. So you got to start singing now, buddy.
Yeah. Well, that was cool. Thanks so much.
All right. My pleasure. Okay. So Gene, Russell.
Yeah, you're going to talk about what's coming up for the other Canadian guests this month.
Oh yes. Okay. So next Friday we have the indomitable, beautiful Pat Braden, who lives up in Yellowknife, same time zone, so it's going to be cool. And he has been doing some beautiful storytelling with the stick, and he's a great player, great human being, and that's going to be a whole lot of fun. And then on the 27th, so that's the 20th, and on the 27th we have the lovely and talented Jim Meyer, who has been holding the Vancouver Stick Conferences for many, many years now, and so he's going to talk about that, and he's going to talk and play some of his new material, which is breathtakingly beautiful. But thank you to Kevin, and you're just doing an incredible job, so I can hardly wait. Andy suggested that you bring a video camera to your gigs,
Yeah,
so that you can post those on.
yeah, I should. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you will.
Yes, you will. All right, so thank you. And Russell, good job, Russell, for at the helm.
Thanks. Gene, do you have any other announcements? Otherwise, I'll sign us off. You're on mute. You would think this guy would know how to run this. He's lost it. Oh, Gene.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No, we're all good. We're all good.
Okay, cool. Thanks everyone for participating. We had a full house. Thanks to Kevin, Dale, and everyone else, Michael, and everyone. It's great to be able to see this community growing, get to know people, see faces. Speaking of faces, cameraman, hey kids. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week. Remember, you can watch this on YouTube. You can watch along live. And happy Free Hands Friday to everybody. See ya.
Thanks for having me, guys.